Right,
Crazy how
right,
it's
right,
going.
right. All
Yeah.
right, Mr. Kevin. Well, I just started the recording. So, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing good there, Joey.
Good,
So
good, good,
this
good.
is the Crack Hawk podcast
Crack Hawk
hosted by
podcast.
a guy in Michigan and a guy in North
Yep,
Carolina
yep. Known each other for goddamn
since
20,
2010.
27 years now, give or take. I don't
Yep,
know.
yep.
Whatever the number is.
Too damn long, one might
Yeah,
say.
too
This
damn,
fucker's
too
just.
damn long.
I just swore, but this guy just he's
It's a.
always
We'll cut
he's
it.
just
We'll
hung
bleep it. We'll
around.
bleep it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've
like a pain in my ankle. He's just always been
Right,
there.
right, right, right. Well, I think okay. So now, while we're on the topic, I don't think that we've talked about it so far. How to tell us your side of the story of how we met.
All right. So this is a great one right here.
Yeah.
So basically, I had a friend named Derek, who I used to play games with. He
Yep.
was a Californian. I talk in the past tense like he's not with us anymore, but he is
He's dead.
alive.
He
I
actually got hit
follow him
by
on
a bus
Instagram.
2 days later. But yeah, no.
Right. So basically, we were playing Left 4 Dead one night, and we had a random in our game in our versus match. It turned out to be Joey, and this guy he just kind of would swear periodically here and
Yeah,
there. Well,
yeah.
me and Derek were talking, and it would kind of make me and Derek laugh a little bit because he wouldn't say anything else. You'd just be like, "Ah," and then you'd
Fuck.
swear, and something would happen. Yeah, right. It
Yeah,
was a pretty squeaky damn voice,
yeah,
I tell
yeah,
you
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But anyways, I ended up adding Joey as a friend on Xbox, and now many years later, I still keep tabs on the guy.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So from my side of it, um, I had this friend named Justin that he was the only kid that I knew that I hung out with on a pretty regular basis that had an Xbox. And not only had an Xbox, but he had an Xbox Live subscription, which
Elite.
kids today probably don't know, because you can jump on and play any game online. Um, but he had that, and then I got my Xbox for Christmas one year, uh, and so there was this game that we used to play, Left 4 Dead, and I was like, this seems like a good time, because it was like the first online game that I'd seen. And obviously Halo was out, and I know that there was a lot of other online games, but this was the first one that had like kind of piqued my interest. And so I went to a Play It Again, I think is what the name of it was. It's like a GameStop, but way worse. Uh, and I picked up a used copy of Left 4 Dead, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to play this. And my full intention was to play it with my friend Justin, and we were just never on at the same time, or he was playing something else. And so I jumped on, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to play on my own. And this was one of the first times that I ever decided that I was going to play on my own without somebody that I knew. And I jumped in and I hear these what sounds like, and as you guys can tell, Kevin's voice is pretty deep, and it always has been. I don't think it's changed
It
much.
really has.
Mine has been a
As soon
little
as
bit
I
more
came out
high
of the womb, it
pitch.
was deep.
Exactly, exactly. You came out like, where's the vodka, mother? You know. Um, and my voice is a little bit higher pitched. It's a little bit more raspy now. There's another story to that, but it was always kind of a higher pitched tone. And so I'm in there like, fuck, oh my God, what the fuck? Screaming at all these zombies. And then you two are talking the whole time, just talking to each other. And um, finally, you guys had like said something to me, like, kind of like getting a call back, like you say something, I'll respond. And from there, I think we finished out the little campaign that we were playing. Kind of hit it off a little bit, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Hey, I'll add you, and we'll play again. And then ended up playing a couple more nights, and then one thing led to another. Modern Warfare 2 was happening, and where that led, and so yeah, we've been friends ever since. Just every so often we'll go through like a year and a half some odd hiatus where we just don't say anything to each
Mhm.
other. And then randomly it'll be like, hey man, hope you're well, hope everything's going good. And
Yeah.
and then it's like, yo, we should game sometime. And I mean, exactly how this shit started.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, I'm in.
Well.
I've lived since I've known Kevin. I've lived in a separate country in 4 states. So if that says anything about the the dynamic of our friendship, I mean, I think that at least attests to it. So
Yep, and I am by all means the polar opposite. Joey kind of
right,
gives me crap for basically never leaving my front door, as he claims.
right, right.
I have still lived in the
Right.
same house actually for all these years. Currently, I own a property now that's got a shed on it that I'm
Yep.
developing,
Yep.
but
That he's gonna
still
invite me to
just
move into as soon as he asks me to marry him, and there's this
oh,
whole
by all
thing. But
means,
we won't get into
yeah,
that. But
that's the story for another podcast for
right, right,
sure.
right.
But yeah, definitely, Joey is well more traveled than myself. But one thing I
Ooh.
wanted to say is, well, we have an infinite screen here. One thing I
Yeah.
wanted to say is, I
Uh,
never would have clued in a million years that Joey was as novice to playing online as he was at the time. Because I get maybe that just goes to show how easy it is to just
where's the
fake
back
it
button?
with
Oh
online
yeah.
games, so to speak. I
That's
had no idea. So I honestly could have thought that this guy just grew up uh, out of the womb playing online video games,
right.
and I would have just never known the difference. So that's something I actually learned just recently. That is kind of funny, makes me
Yeah.
laugh. Just know that that was one of the first times Joey was somewhat out in the Wild
Yeah. Yeah.
West
Definitely.
playing online games,
I mean,
talking
my
to creepy weirdos online.
right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, late at night where I have to like hover over my mic so I can like talk to people.
It
You
was a
know.
late night because a lot of
Yeah.
times with Derek, he was he was 3 hours behind, of course. So
Mm.
we kind of make him later nights usually
Right.
gaming.
Yeah, because
You know.
he's well at the time he's in Calgary. I'm gonna assume he's still there, but
Yeah,
um,
he is as far as I know.
it was always weird too because like you'd get into some lobbies where they're like, it's only 6 o'clock here and it's like 9:30. You're like, what the
Yeah,
like holy
yeah.
shit. But
Well, when you think of the majority of the
yeah,
population, like with
well,
California, it's a huge amount
even
of
better
people.
example for the longest time up until the last maybe 6 or 7 years, we have not ever been in the same time zone,
Yep,
and that's
yeah.
something that
Florida was the first time, and then of
yeah,
course now,
yep,
yeah. For the bulk of our friendship there, it
right,
really was.
right,
And
right.
then Germany was what 6 hours, right?
Seven. Yeah, I think it was like 7 hours. 7 hours time
Yeah,
difference. Yeah.
yeah.
So
But we still found a way to play.
we
Like,
did. Yeah,
well, what's
we
so
played a
funny?
fuckload of GTA. I mean,
Grand Theft Auto 4 is
yeah,
generally what we kind of played. I remember doing the
yeah.
stupid races that were
Oh my
super
God, dude.
laggy on the
That,
motorcycles.
dude. That. Okay, so that. Well, if you're talking about GTA 5 and then GTA 4. So GTA 4 was that strip. In like the
Yeah.
middle of the city, we would just do those stupid fucking races. Yeah, exactly what you're talking. And then
Yep.
GTA 5, I think that we played that a little bit. I could be
We
wrong.
did. We did.
Yeah, and it
Yep.
was all always, hey, let's ramp this car into the fucking military base and go steal a jet and
Yeah.
try to get away with it the first thing, and then second of all, just fly around and fuck around with it. And then of course, I mean, GTA has developed so much since then. Like
Yeah.
the base
Yeah.
game had came out, and then online was happening, and then that was it. Like there wasn't any of
Yeah.
these DLCs and all this other crap that they're adding into it now. But um,
Yeah.
oh,
I
goodness,
respect the DLCs they've had come out
for
for it,
sure,
but let's be
for sure.
real. The house always wins on that game. They
Yeah.
always act like here's your new content, but
Yeah, and then like,
you have to
get the
pay
fuck
so
out of
much
my face.
in-game you have to pay so much in-game money to be able to buy like the things to have access that it's like
Yeah, I
okay, the game kind of isn't really it's not actually giving me any more money because like
right,
yeah, sure I'm getting money now that I'm playing these, but you had to pay in
right, right.
that
The
much money.
most recent one that I found, and I'm sure that you haven't played it, but I mean it's been within the past couple months. Is that the bounty hunter thing? I've
Mm,
seen ads about it all over YouTube. It's like you're a bounty
yeah,
hunter and you just like go capture people. You get like $150,000 for like the high
yeah,
target. And I think I told you recently that I had downloaded it to do the 5M thing, which is like that role play GTA type thing, which is actually
uh-huh,
quite a bit of fun. It plays off the GTA 5 base game, but then you get onto like a modded server. So it's got all
yeah,
these like different things like you got to worry about like eating and drinking and stuff like that. Um,
hmm,
and then like they have like different roles that you can do. Like you can be a police officer. and like pull people over and do all this. It's a pretty cool concept, but even then, like the base game itself, when I downloaded it, because I had to have the base game downloaded before I could even log into the like the server. And so I downloaded it and I played it, and of course it put me through like the first the campaign story where you're driving the little Bronco looking thing, and you rob a bank and all that. So you have to play through all that. And surprisingly enough, all of my shit had saved.
Hmm.
And I have never played that on my PC. I have it. I have it on Steam. I've never once played it on PC. I've only ever played it on Xbox, and it had all my shit saved. Like I went into my garage and I had the Corvette, or the Conquest or whatever the fuck it's called in game. I had that still. I had my BMW M3. Um, I had everything, and then all my money, and then I mean, granted, my money was only like 1.2 million, but still, like, it had kind of saved everything, and that kind of surprised me a lot because like it almost seems like that amount of money and like the amount of time that I had spent, and like I only had a garage, like I didn't have like an apartment or anything.
Hmm.
The amount of time that I remember playing on GTA 5, and like that was it, and then finding out that like the DLCs you have to put like 1.5 million into, or like you have to have this certain apartment in order to do these heists, or like this, that,
Yeah.
and the other. It's like, like if you were playing from day one, then yeah, it'd be no problem. You'd have,
Yeah, you had to have a certain business
yeah,
or a house, or you
yep,
had to buy the clubhouses, you had to buy
exactly,
the mechanical shops, and
yep.
I can't only imagine what more stuff there is to
Yeah, and then for
get
somebody that
money
hadn't
out of
played
you.
other than like the first, 3 or 4 years that the game had come out, and then wanting to get back into it, like it's not possible. I mean, you could spend hours and hours and hours like trying to get up all this money, but you still wouldn't have enough. And if you
Yeah,
did just get just enough, then it would be like, okay, well, I've grinded too hard for this. Like it's more fun to running around, running over hookers and shooting cops and shit. Get on a water tower
yeah.
and sniping people until you get 5 stars and seeing how long you can last up there. But
the the longevity to that game really is a double-edged sword for me because yeah, it's like why would anybody start from scratch now
right,
in the game? Why would
right.
you have even started probably 5 years ago in the game?
Exactly. And by no means am I talking shit about the game, because I've always loved GTA.
Right, right.
Always loved GTA.
Because
I mean, you and I had so many countless nights on GTA 4 where we were just
oh
fucking
yeah,
around. I mean, we had nothing to do. There was, I mean,
yeah,
the once you complete the storyline in GTA 4, you're done. Like that's it. There's no more. Online is just online.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
can't say anything good about, or anything but good things about GTA in general,
yeah,
right? But
right.
it does kind
But
of give like the new crowd a little bit of a I'll just wait until the next one.
well, just we have that stat that
Yeah,
it where it had been in 10 years' time, Rockstar Games had come out with two games, and that was
right.
Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, when you look at the PS2 era of things, Rockstar had games almost every year come out
Yep,
that were different IPs. Like
yep,
it's crazy how much that landscape of things has changed because now it's
exactly.
like I appreciate you updating the game really good, but being that it's the house always wins, like I say, you have to spend so much money to really pay into those.
Right, 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 right.
Like the player doesn't actually really win anything because here's the funny thing: you can actually stick with the same like things that you already know in that game and just grind those, and your money's going to come out to basically the same thing
Right.
because to move up you have to pay all that money, and then it still takes your time to play those DLCs. It's
Right.
kind of an illusion of being a businessman.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. All right. Let's take a
So
break.
that was quite a ramble about Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Definitely a game I would say just as a whole is I respect the heck out of that game. It's given me hours
Mm,
of entertainment. I really appreciate that it's always been a casual game because like
right.
whether it was me and Joey on it or like me and my buddy Keenan when we were going through school,
Yep.
like it was a game where you didn't have to have a sweat fest to have a good time on it after you had a
Exactly.
busy day, and
Yep.
that's something
Just
I'm
something to
getting
fuck around
older.
on. you know.
I appreciate that
Exactly.
culture more and more
Yeah, and
every day.
that's something that I kind of look for in games too. Like I would consider myself more like an indie game player. Like I'll find something that's like $1 or maybe five
Sure.
bucks on Steam, and I'll play it, and I just have a blast, because I don't have to worry about getting into, like, for example, Call of Duty, right? Especially now, it's a whole nother topic. We'll discuss that in another video. Uh, but like it just makes it so much easier that I can be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go play. There's that game I think I told you about, Vampire Survivors. It's a overhead game. You're literally just a 16-bit or an 8-bit character, and you're running around, and sometimes you can even just stand still. And your goal is to last, oh, excuse me, for 30 minutes. And it's just one of those like progression type games where you just you get enough experience, and then you can upgrade like a weapon, or like your like an ability or a skill or whatever. And you literally
Mhm.
just for most of it you're just clicking and pointing. That's one of those games where I don't have to have my hand on my mouse or on my keyboard, or either one, where I can just like I can move WASD, and I'm just standing around, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time, instead of getting on Call of Duty where I'm like, I know that I'm pretty decent at Call of Duty. I don't play keyboard and mouse. I play controller still. But like, it's one of those games where no matter how much time you put into it, there's always going to be somebody that's either cheating, or some kid that's got like fucking motor reflexes like a
Yeah.
gazelle, where it's just you're
You
always going to find that. And then there
you
are
you
those.
got the skill-based matchmaking that will always kind of penalize
Exactly.
you for doing well.
Exactly. And I know this isn't a new topic by any means. Like this is
No,
not
no,
something
it's
that
been beat to death
like, yeah,
actually.
and I mean, you see like top level like performers, or people that like make content for a living. They have just completely strayed away from Call of Duty, because they're like, this is not this game is no longer viable for, like, for example, for them, like it's for their business, right? Like their business is them creating content and then sending it out to the world, and it's just not viable anymore. Like they just can't do it because it just doesn't make any sense. Like they're always getting shit on, or somebody always knows the new meta, or like the new game mechanic that they're just abusing and overdoing. It just became not fun, you know. Um, but yeah, we that's a whole nother video. But yeah,
Yeah.
to go back on topic, it's always fun to have one of those like mindless type games, like GTA,
Yeah.
where you just get on and you don't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah. Like
You're gonna go fuck around, and you're like, you know what? Like, hey, let's see how long we can last for 5 stars, which we used to do all the time on GTA 4. It'd be
oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
we're gonna get
I remember
five
being in the
stars.
SWAT team van and
Oh
we'd all
my
be in
god,
the back of
yes,
that
I
trying to
was
hold
just
out.
about to mention that. Yeah, we'd all be in the
We,
back of
we
it.
our
Just
goal would be to get to the burger shot.
yes, yeah, yeah. And I'm surprised that we didn't do it as much on GTA 5, where we just w- like we started from one side of the island to the other, and like
Yeah.
we got our 5 stars on this side, and then we try to get, like, our only goal is to get to the airport, or from, like,
Yeah.
even then, airport to airport, uh, get 5 stars at the airport, and then drive,
Yeah.
as best we can.
And
So
I think I know the answer.
what's that?
GTA 5 just had a way of having enough activities in the game where we were kind of like, ooh, a piece of candy, and we
Yeah,
went and did
yeah, and we're
that
just like,
instead.
oh, actually, let's go do that.
GTA 4, I want to give you a little analogy on. That was because we were talking about playing in the yard as kids not
Yeah,
long ago.
yep,
GTA 4 was like a virtual version of that because you kind of had to find a way to
yep.
decide to play that game in a
That whole
way, and it
gopher
was kind of
hole
like,
thing. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because it sure as hell didn't have some mission you were gonna do. Like I always like how GTA 5 had those little missions that would come up right there in the
like
free
Lester would
roam.
call
Like
you. and you're like, you got 4 stars, and Lester'd be like, "Yo, I got this thing."
But yeah, but also like they'd have that one drive the longest amount of miles without crashing into something. So you'd
That's
be on the
right. Yeah.
highway, and then what I loved about it is
Yeah.
that everybody was signed up for it in the lobby, so you'd see their stats, and
Yeah.
see how
Yep.
how far they did. One of them was also parachuting and falling the longest distance before
Before pulling the
ejecting your
chute.
parachute. So like you would just see somebody just
Nice.
hurl out of an airplane or something.
Yeah. Just they jumped into the military base, stole a Harrier jet, and they were like, I'm
Yeah.
out, and they
Hey,
just straight climb.
well,
You
one of
know?
them had those stupid tokens. Just these tokens would
Yeah.
come up, these like holographic tokens, and you just had to collect them and get more than other people.
Right.
But it was like a funny way to just all of a sudden it changed the pace of what you were doing, and you were like, oh, I want to try to get $7,000.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
they always they definitely made sure to keep it interesting. Yeah, I mean, especially
yeah,
for like, I mean, we can talk shit about Rockstar all day of the week, and how they haven't put out a game in what, 8 years now.
yeah.
How
Well,
long
it's
would it be?
been like I said, two games in 10 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I get it. Like it is a great meta to keep alive, but think
Right.
about it. Like think about how cool it would have been if we could have went back to Liberty City, or we could have went back to
Oh
any
yeah.
city landscape. The
Oh
big
my
thing to
God. Yeah.
me kind of became I'd like a new map. Now Los Angeles was perfect,
Yes.
but a new map would have been kind of nice in
Right.
10 years time.
Right. And
That's
I
all
do
I'm
like
saying.
the, and I'm gonna kind of sidetrack this a little bit. I like the fact that that games do, um, I guess it would be called like a mimic, right? Where they take a city or they take a place, and then they kind of mimic it, and they build their model around it. Which some people would say like, oh, that's the cheap way. All you got to do is like look it up on Google Maps, or go there and take a bunch of pictures or whatever.
Mm,
Like, but I like that though, because like, for example, Call of Duty had, Alcatraz as like one
yep.
of their maps, right? And
Yep.
I've been to Alcatraz and I've seen it, and like I know, like, I'm like, that's exactly how it is in real life. Obviously a little different, but like I like that. And like people in, like GTA 5, for example, or even 4 with New York, there's some similarities to it. But especially GTA 5, it's like, you see all these videos of people on, TikTok, and they're like, "Oh my God, I've been here. Like, I know exactly where to go," and it's GTA 5. I,
Yeah.
I do,
Yep.
I can kind of appreciate that, and I don't think it's a sellout. I think it's
No, I don't think it is
I
either.
think it's
I
a
agree.
marketing ploy, if anything. Like, hey, like, this is a similar place. So if you've been there, or if you live there, aka LA, where millions of people live, and how many millions of those people are going to play GTA 5? I'm like, yo, that's my apartment right there. Like literally that building right there is my
Yeah.
apartment. You know, so
Yep.
I think
Yep.
that's kind of a cool concept. And of course, there's not really any, like, copyright laws about having things look similar to, a city or a state or whatever. But,
Yeah.
I definitely like that aspect of it quite a bit.
Well, another thing I think is really cool about GTA is I don't know if you've ever kind of clued into this at all, but like GTA is basically a parallel universe
Yes.
of our universe
Right.
essentially, except it's a much more it plays out in things as if the universe still turned out somewhat more grimace, I would have to say.
Right.
Because
Right.
like the radios, people swear in the
Yes.
radios.
Yeah.
Think of that as a culturally accepted thing because think about it, we've
That's
had the Howard Stern
nuts.
show for decades. We've had
Yeah.
you back when YouTube was less family friendly.
Yeah. Where you could actually post things that you'd wanted to.
Yeah,
But
certain things were a little bit
we
more
might have to
grim,
cut
but
that out because, if we want money. But anyway, yeah, keep going.
right.
Yeah.
Well, um, but I always thought that was kind of interesting because it's like it really is like Grand Theft Auto is a more desolate version of our own society because like when you listen to the radios, they always have a guy ranting about society on there,
Yeah.
and then like think about the parallels with Life Invader they had,
Yeah.
the iFruit phone they had, like so many nods to our actual world, but
exactly.
they're different in a
And they're
sense
just
where
kind
it
of
actually belongs.
like
It belongs in their
like
world,
they're
you know.
teetering on it. Like they're touching the ivory keys, but they're not playing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're getting real close, but they're yeah,
One of the
it's
big ones you probably remember is in GTA 5. There's that radio ad for the video game Righteous Slaughter.
yes, yep, 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 yep.
And like
And then the
the advertisement is so funny because
right.
after he like states the stuff that's in the game and all the senseless violence, he's like uh releasing soon, but pretty much like the last game.
Exactly. Exactly. Now I
It's
will
just
say that
right on the nose, you know.
I will say that like with the new development of AI, which is actually a good segue to one of the topics that I have.
Mm-hmm.
With the development of AI, I'm excited to see how GTA 5 or GTA 6 is because
Yeah.
apparently it's an adaptive game. It plays like every campaign apparently is going to play differently depending on how you play it, like how you kind of carry out the missions and do all that stuff. And then online is going to be even better, like as far as the AI generation goes,
Mm.
because like I mean they're putting in stuff like the cops are going to be adaptive, like they're going to learn.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much like if you run too many red lights or run into too many cars, like you're pretty much going to always have like a 1 star type thing is what I understand. I could be completely wrong, but it's going to be something like they're going to the AI or the NPCs are going to be like kind of adaptive and learning your play style for your own playthrough. GTA Online might be completely different. I don't know exactly how that's going to be. I've just only heard about the campaign where it's going to be adapted to how you play. So obviously you're going to still do like the same GTA type shit, like bank heist and going to kill this person or that and do all these other things. But I'm interested more so than what the game itself is about, but how the AI is going to learn and adapt as much as it can to the game. You know what I mean? Or to the player of the game. It's
Yep.
obviously still going to have the same storyline as everybody else had. It's just gonna be a different experience for everybody, I guess, is what I heard, and I could be completely wrong. It's just what I heard about how they're kind of incorporating the AI and
Mm.
having it do like that like typical machine learning type thing. Um, so I'd be interested. I definitely think that once that game comes out, I don't care if it's 400 gigabytes. I'm downloading it. Like I'm
Oh
playing
yeah,
that
for
game.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
The aesthetic, the trailer looked
For
great.
sure, yeah. Oh,
It's
oh, the
you're in
trailer with
Florida.
the girl shaking her ass on the hood of the car, and then it cuts to
Well,
a glitter. You
a
know,
lot of that stuff derived from parodies actually from our universe. Once again,
exactly, yeah. And
they
it's
showed
based
side
out of
by
Florida.
sides of the stuff they referenced.
Exactly, it's
So
based
it
out of
like,
Florida. And as somebody that lived in Florida, I can tell you that shit happens all the time.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we've all seen the video of that monster gator that like crawls up on the golf field, and it's like 15
yeah,
foot long and easily 1,000 pounds, like this just
yeah,
giant thing. And then they show that in the fucking trailer, this giant like monster, literal dinosaur, from before humans were even ever a thing, came out of the water, you know, like
yeah.
that's nuts,